the last three words on 59b. We thank Hashem that we're able to learn every day. So we're learning the basic English immediately. Also, it should be before Shlema from my father. So it's before Shlema. Okay. Im Haya Makira. This is where we're starting. What happened was we quoted a brisa. That says that a woman is obligated to nurse her son while she's married, but if she gets divorced, then the husband doesn't have that sort of control over her, and she could get a wet nurse. But if the child already recognizes the mother, and the child won't just go to any woman to nurse, so then even if they're divorced, then they can still force her that she has to continue to nurse the child because it's dangerous. So in Maya Makir, we're talking about if the child recognizes the mother. Ad Kama, Gemara asks, how long does that take for the child to learn to recognize his mother? Amar Rabba, Amar Rab Yirmiyah Barabba, Amar Rav, goes all the way back to Rav, Shleisha Chadashim, 3 months. It takes 3 months of the child nursing to recognize who he wants to nurse from. Shmuel Amar Shleish Miyam, Shmuel says it takes 30 days. Rab Yitzchak Amar Rab Yochanan, Rab Yitzchak says name of Rab Yochanan Chamish Miyam, it takes 50 days. Amar Rav Simi Barabaya, Halacha Rab Yitzchak Shamishim Rab Yochanan. Simi Barabaya says, okay, Halacha is like Rab Yochanan, 50 days. Gemara explains, Bishleim Rav Rab Yochanan. I get what Rav is saying. He said 3 months. I guess it means 90 days. Rab Yochanan says 50 days. Kol Chad B'Chad Ki Chorfei. Each child is talking about how precocious he is, how quick he is to recognize his mother. Elul Shmuel, but Shmuel that says it takes 30 days. Is that really? Is that possible? That in 30 days a child could recognize his mother? Rami Bar Yecheskel. When Rami Bar Yecheskel came, Amar, he said, don't listen to those rules that my brother Yehuda, that's Rabbi Yehuda, the famous Rabbi Yehuda Marav, Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel, don't listen to my brother Yehuda. He says the name of Shmuel. Rather, Hachi Amar Shmuel. What Shmuel really said is Kolzman Shemakira, as long as he recognizes her. But he did not say specifically how long it takes. He's saying that it was Yehuda's his brother that made that up. And he says, don't listen to him. Yeah, you have to check. You have to check if the baby recognizes the mother. Well, how do you do that? He does Lakami the Shmuel. There was someone that came in front of Shmuel. We're talking about a divorced woman that didn't want to nurse her child. And Amalei l'Ravdimi Bar Yosef, Shmuel tells to Ravdimi Bar Yosef, Zilbatka, go check if the child recognizes the mother. Azal, he went, Esfa Bedari Dinashi, put the mother to sit in the middle of a row of women, a bunch of nursing women. Yeah, line up. Yeah, where would this be? To be outside the carpool lane or something, in the a bunch of women there. In the baby room, they can get this. The teachers they drop off the baby over there, so they have to come nurse. Anyway, they put up all the women over there. Shakli Lebra, he takes the son, and he starts walking down. When he comes to her, he starts to look up. So the mother looks away from the child. So he tells to the mother, lift up your eyes. Kum dari brech, go and carry your son. The child recognized her. Summa minayada, what about a blind child? How does the blind child know? The blind child would know because of the scent and I guess the taste of the milk, I guess. Taima, it must mean the taste of the milk. Okay, Tana Rabbanan, was taught in a brisa, Yenik tinik v'haylachad esrim v'arba chedesh. A child can nurse until 24 months. 2 years, right? Yikan ve'elach, once he's older than that, Yenik sheketz. It's like he's nursing a sheketz, means like a like a non-kosher animal. Yeah, it's not. It just says mishuk. It's something disgusting. Doesn't mean like I don't know if this means it's forbidden or it's disgusting. I mean, I don't know if it's a law or if it's not proper. I'm not sure what the Gemara is telling me. What does it say there? Okay, well, yeah, that's going to be the next opinion. But in this opinion, what happens after the 4 years? What does it say? It's like. Yeah, so that doesn't tell me that it's forbidden. I mean, it just sounds like, like don't eat in the street. It doesn't mean that it's forbidden. It just means it's not appropriate. Divrei Rabbi Eliezer. That's the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Shua Merafilo Arba v'Chameshanim. Rabbi Shua says even 4 and 5 years. It's funny because Rabbi Shua was the one that was praised, Ashri Eladate, praised as his mother. I wonder if it's because he was nursed. No, they say praise his mother because she brought him to the Beis Medrash to listen to the learning. But here we have something else that he holds that you can nurse for 4 or 5 years. Yeah, at a certain point, the child wants chocolate chip cookies with his milk, and then it's like something's not appropriate. Okay. Pirish la'achar wants with his coffee. Pirish la'achar 24 chodesh v'chazar ki'enik sheketz. Okay. Here, even though Rabbi Yeshua holds that you're allowed to nurse up to 4 and 5 years, but he says, but that would not be the case if they stopped nursing and then they started again. If you stopped nursing once, then you can't start again. If the baby stopped after 24 months. Amar Mar, the master taught, we're going back to explain something. Mikan ve'elach kienik sheketz. From here on, it's as if he was nursing something that's abominable, something that's not allowed. Problem is, we have Baramini. We have a contradiction to this. This is a brisa that says, Yachal yechalav mahalchi shtayim tamid. Maybe human milk should be not kosher. Okay. V'dinhu. And I'll prove it to you. Ma behema shekalta b'magach marta b'chelba. When it comes to a non-kosher animal, it becomes a non-kosher animal. If you touch a non-kosher animal while it's alive, you go to the zoo or you go to the farm, you touch a non-kosher animal, it doesn't make a person tummy. The non-kosher animal doesn't give off tumah. But the milk of a non-kosher animal, camel milk or something, is not kosher. Okay, Adam, when it comes to a person, shechmarta b'magay, that you are strict about contact. You make a woman can give off tumah if she's a nida, or a man is tumah. Here would probably be referring to the woman because the milk. For sure, her milk should be tameh, which means not kosher. If by the animal it's tar, but the milk is tameh, the woman that's tameh, for sure the milk should be tameh. Pasuk tells us that the camel you can't eat, although it chews its cud, but it doesn't have the full split hoof. Halfway, right? Hu tameh ve'ein chalav malchi shtayim tameh. What that means is that kimalagerahu, it has this problem, but a human does not have this problem, and therefore elatar, therefore the milk would be tar. It's a exclusion. Bees, the Gemara says, it's just a collection of nectar. Right. Although the royal jelly is something that they produce, and that's actually not kosher. So, right.
everybody here, not that royal jelly.
I'm not sure. You know what it is? Royal jelly is something that the bees produce that they feed specifically to the queen bee. It's not the honey. You know, it's like what you get it in Whole Foods. It's like some like unique. That's a problem. Yeah, but what the bees, the honey is just a collection of nectar. So maybe we should say that milk. Not every animal has milk. We say that's tar, but blood that everyone has, humans and animals, we should say maybe that's tamei. It should be equal. So human blood, right now the Gemara is discussing, maybe we should say that human blood is forbidden to eat. Talmud Laimar, who tamei vein dam halchis time tamei. Human blood is permissible to eat. It's excluded from when it says kimala gerahu, that by the camel. The camel, the milk is not good, is not kosher, and the blood is not kosher. But by a human, the milk and blood is yes kosher. Now, and Damhalchis time tamei elatar. V'amar Rav Sheshes says afilu mitzvahs prisha ein bay. He says that you don't even have a rabbinic rule not to have human blood. Gemara says. Like kasha. Okay, so 1 second. Why are we saying like kasha? What was our question over here? We said that if someone drinks milk after 24 months, so it's considered kiyanik sheretz. It's abominable. And now we're saying that what's the problem? It's kosher. Milk from a human is kosher. Where it says like kasha, had the parish, had the light parish. There's no question. Depends. Is he drinking it from her breast or is he drinking it in a cup? If he's drinking it directly from her, so then that's abominable. But if he's drinking in a cup, that's fine. Talking about an older person, 3 years old, not 2 years old already, or 6 years old, according to Rabbi Yeshua, who holds that you can up to 4 or 5. But the opposite would be when it comes to blood. Why is it the opposite by blood? Because by blood, if someone has a cut in his mouth, he doesn't have to keep spitting. He's allowed to swallow that blood. But if it's taken out of his mouth, then he already can't eat it. Okay, so that's the opposite of by the milk, because by the milk, if it's still attached to her, then he can't have it. But if it's taken off and onto something else, so that's where it's the reverse. The chiluf of bedam kedetanya, as was taught in a brayso, dam shall gabikika, if there's blood that's on a loaf of bread, like you scrape off the blood and you can eat the bread. Shebeina shinayim, if it's between the teeth, like in the gums, might say she can suck on the blood, and it's not a problem. It has to do with it's like a marasayan, I think. If you take the blood out, then it looks like animal blood. Then there's a problem to drink it. But if no one sees it, or if he didn't see it, then it's no problem. If there's a discussion where on the lip, if there's bleeding on the lip, where does he have to be strict? I think if when he closes his mouth, if it's on the inside, there was a discussion about that somewhere. Okay. Oh yeah, inside the mouth. Yeah. Oh, but does that affect the halacha of the blood? Okay. Amar Mar, we taught before. Rabbi Shua Aimer Afila Arba v'chamish shanim. A baby can nurse up to 4 or 5 years old. But Tanya Rabbi Shua Aimer Afila chavilasa yal kseifa. Even if he has a pack on his shoulder, I mean, he can nurse up until like he's sounds like a grown person. It says Idi Vidi Chachir. No, we're actually talking about the same person. Talking about 4 or 5 years old, and that's his backpack, I guess. Rabbi Yosef says, halacha Rabbi Yeshua. The halacha is like Rabbi Yeshua, that a baby can nurse up to 4 or 5 years. Yeah, this is very modern. This is very, like the hippie-ish, like the new age, the nursing over there. Yeah, they nurse in public. I was in the store. This lady's walking around nursing her baby, in Whole Foods, not in public. Usually they have a cloth or some sort of like apron, a nursing apron, so it's I think more modest. Yeah. Okay.
Is that what you saw?
No, there was no apron. There was nothing. This was just very, very natural. Okay. All right. They must have had something. Yeah. Yeah. Tanya was taught in a brayser of Marina Seimer Geineach Yenek Chalav b'Shabbos. This is in Masech the Shabbos also. This is Geineach is someone that has some heart ailment. I don't know what it's translated over there, but the remedy for it is to nurse directly from a goat's milk, but directly from the goat. Now the problem is on Shabbos you're not allowed to express the milk. Why? Because it's called mefarik. Mefarik is a tolda of dash. It's taking what was contained inside and it's taking it out. Dash is threshing. You have the grain and you crush the outer kernels of the outer shell of the grain so that the inside should come out. So nursing, expressing the milk rather would be taking what the food that's contained inside and taking it out. That's the same category. The only thing is that this he's allowed. My time of yonik nursing, here he's nursing from the goat. Mefarik kalachayat is an abnormal way of nursing. A human to nurse from a goat is abnormal, especially as an older person. Usually they milk the goat. So since this is a backhanded way, a backwards way of doing it, so it's considered kalachayad, that's which takes it down a level. And so therefore, b'makim tzara, it's not as prohibited, it's because it's an abnormal way. So and if there's a pain or distress, then it becomes permitted. The rabbis didn't decree about kalachayad if there's pain. Rav Yosef, halacha Rab Marinas. Rabbi Yosef says the halacha is like Rab Marinas. So Rabbi Yosef is telling us the halacha here in a few places. Rabbi Yosef told us the halacha is like Rabbi Yeshua. He tells us the halacha is like Rab Marinas. Okay.
It's okay to do it.
Yeah, it's okay to do it.
Here, it's coughing.
It's coughing. Oh, it's so ganaf maybe is coughing. Yeah. It's coughing due to an illness. Rashi makes it sound like it's something that has to do with the heart. Okay. Now we said Pirish that if you stop nursing, if the baby stopped nursing, I skipped something. Tanya was taught in a brayso. Here we're talking about a drain pipe. If it started to grow weeds in the drain pipe, or it doesn't have to be weeds, it's probably not weeds, it's probably just a lot of dirt or straw that gets caught in the drain pipe, and you want to let the water out, so you can step into the drain pipe and squish that straw and make the water be able to flow. My time, what's the reason? Masakin kalachiyadu, because he's fixing it in a backhanded way. And when there's a loss, like I'm not sure what the loss is, maybe because the water would drip through the roof.
You're backhanded with his foot?
Back-footed.
Back-footed.
Yeah. That's a shina, yeah. It's kalacha yad. Number Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef says now again halacha ke nachem yishgalia. The halacha is like nachem yishgalia. I guess it's a place. Okay. Pirish.
You can do it.
Yeah. Pirish. Daf Yomi is not a halacha share, but the Gemara says you have to look it up in the Shulchan Aruch. Pirish lachar esrim v'arba chedesh v'chazar ki yenik sheket. If a baby stopped nursing after 24 months, and then it wants to go back to nursing more, then that's like nursing something that's abominable. Bekama, how long did it stop nursing? I mean, it stops every day, to eat the cookies. But how long did it stop for? How long was the break in the nursing? Rav Yehuda bar Chaviva Amar Shmuel Shleishi Yamim. This is in the name of Shmuel, 3 days, stopping for 3 days. Ikadamri, Tani Rav Yehuda bar Chaviva coming to Shmuel Shleishi Yamim. Others say that it wasn't Rav Yehuda bar Chaviva in the name of Shmuel, it was Rav Yehuda bar Chaviva in front of Shmuel, that he said that he thought that it was 3 days. He had a tradition. Okay.
I'm just going back to so they are not saying that like breast milk is not kosher, like at stage 2.
It was we weren't really sure if it meant that it's not kosher or if it meant that it was just abominable, that meant it wasn't appropriate. Now, from the Gemara's question, it sounds like it's not kosher. Because remember, the Gemara had a question, a contradiction. I have a place that it says that it is kosher. Now, the Gemara could have answered that it's kosher, but it's abominable.
But like
So
horse milk isn't kosher.
horse milk
It has
is
to be,
not
like, from
kosher.
a cow or from
Right.
a lamb.
Right, but nevertheless, human milk is kosher. Yeah. Why is it kosher with non-kosher animals? Is it directly from the pasuk that we learn this, or is there also a logic to it? From our Gemara, it sounded like it was a pasuk. Well, that's the example. Those examples would be the milk is only from a cow, which you can eat, but it's Aver Menachai. That was the Gemara Bechiris. We had this Gemara in Bechiris. That over there, the Gemara learns Eres Zavas Chalav Advash, that we wouldn't praise the land of Israel with something that wasn't kosher. But over there, the Gemara asks, how are you allowed to eat milk? It's coming from a living animal. You're not allowed to eat the limb of a living animal. You have to shecht it first. The Gemara says, well, we have a pasuk that praises the land of Israel. It wouldn't have been kosher. It wouldn't have been praised if it wasn't kosher. It must be that's teaching us that it's kosher.
So therefore we can derive that we can basically milk a cow while it's still
Right.
alive.
Right.
Wow.
Honey.
Honey, I think the Gemara said was not produced by the bee. Oh, that means they ate honey also. Okay.
Yeah.
What you have to what? Oh, you have to check the cow to get the milk, right?
I wonder, can these
Okay, Taner Rabbanon. Studying a Bryce Meinekes. A nursing, I guess it means a nursing mother. Shemeis Baila b'tei chesrim v'arba chodesh. Her husband passed away while she's nursing, and the baby's not yet 24 months. Hariza leitiaris leitinase. She should not get remarried. She should not be betrothed or married while she's nursing the baby. Ad esrim v'arba chodesh, until 24 months, until the baby's 24 months old. Now, the reason for this is maybe she's going to get pregnant from her new husband, and then she's going to need to wean the baby. And in order to do that, she's going to need eggs and milk. Her new husband is not the father of the baby. He's going to be strict about this, and he's not going to provide enough food. If it would be the father, we're not worried about that. But to get a new husband, that we're concerned about, that maybe he's going to be strict about this. So we say that she should not get betrothed until 24 months. Divri Reb Meir. That's what Reb Meir says. Rabbi Yehuda mater b'shmeina asar chedesh. Rabbi Yehuda says no, it's only 18 months. Why? Because after 18 months you can already wean the child, and it would be the child's fine after 18 months. Yeah, Familiar with the Sefer Peliyayitz? You know that Sefer Peliyayitz? It's a Musar Sefer, but it goes in by Aleph Beis, like under different categories. I read in there once, he's talking about how important it is for the mothers to nurse their babies. And it was like very harsh on them if they let the baby cry and they don't rush to nurse the baby right away. It says they're going to give the din v'cheshbon in heaven for every second that they let the baby wait and they have to nurse right away. Anyway, I'm a Rebbe Nassan Bar Yosef. Reb Nassan Bar Yosef says, Hein Divrei Beishamai, Hein Divrei Beisila. This machlekes between Reb Meir and Reb Yehuda, that's actually an earlier machlekes. It's a machlekes Beishamai and Beisila. Beishamai am Resin V'Arba Chodesh, Beisila am Shmona Asar Chodesh. Beishamai says 24 months, Beisila says 18 months. We had that already. Amar Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. Shimon ben Gamliel says, Ani Achriya. I'll bridge the gap over here. According to the opinion that says 24 months, however, she's really allowed to get married at 21 months. Why? Say in a minute that since the milk would only stop in a pregnant woman, when a woman becomes pregnant, the milk is gonna dry up. But that would take 3 months for that to happen. So even if she were to get married and get pregnant right away, the baby would still have another 3 months to nurse. So it's really only 21 months that would be an issue. Okay. According to the opinion that says that it's 18 months, really she can get married already at 15 months. The reason is the milk doesn't dry up only after she's pregnant for 3 months. So we don't have to worry about it until once it's 15 months. Amar Ula says halacha Rabbi Yehuda. That the halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda that says 18 months. Amar Marukva says lihiti Rabbi Chanina lasis lacha chamisha chodesh. Rabbi Chanina allowed me to get married after 15 months, which sounds like the halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda's view that you only need 18 months, but you can already get married at 15 months, like Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel said, that the milk doesn't stop until 3 months in. Okay. Arise da Abaya had a sharecrop, someone that works for him. Asalakami da Abaya comes in front of Abaya. Amalei Maoli Yaris Bechamisha Sechedesh. Can I get betrothed? I guess the woman that he wants to marry, her husband had died, and he wants to marry this widow, but the widow is nursing, and it's only been 15 months since the baby is born. Amarlei, so he said, Chada, first of all, the Ramei of Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda. Whenever we have a machlekes Ramei and Rabbi Yehuda, remember the Gemara, Erevin, the Allah is like Rabbi Yehuda. And also Bishameh Beisila Allah Beisila. Whenever we have machlekes Bisham Beisila Allah like Beisila, so 18 months would be fine. And Vamar Ula Allah Rabbi Yehuda, and we even have Ula telling us Allah is like Rabbi Yehuda. Vamar Maruk V'lihit Rabbi Chanina L'Sislacha Chamisha Sechedesh. And Rabbi Chanina allowed for Marukva to get married after 15 months, which because it takes 3 months for the milk to stop. Kolshkein dat liaris. For sure, that you're not even getting married, you're just getting betrothed. For sure, that should be fine. Just getting engaged. There's no problem. Oh, that's a good point. So 30 days for that. That's interesting. So Kiyasal Kami de Rabbi Yosef, when he comes in front of Rabbi Yosef, Amalei, Rab Shmuel Damri Tarvayu, Tzricha Lahamtin, Esther and Varba Chedesh, Chutz Miyam Shenel Be, Chutz Miyam Shenesar Sabay. Rabbi Yosef says that you made a mistake. That's not the way Rav and Shmuel paskin. Rav and Shmuel paskin that it's 24 months, and that's not including the day that the baby was born. And it's not including the day that they're getting betrothed. So it's 24 months in the middle. Well, Abaye made a mistake. Rot Basrei Talasa Parsi. He traced after his sharecropper, his worker, 3 parsais. Every parsa is, I think, 4 mil, and every mil is a mil is 2,000 amas or 3,000 amas. I don't remember. A mil is 2,000 amas or 3,000? 2,000 amas. So 3 parsais. 3 is 4 mil, is 12 mil, and each one is 12 is 2,000 amas, 24,000 amas you have to run. Avamila parsa b'chala v'lei adarke. Or maybe some say that he ran 1 parsa, but it was in the sand, and he wasn't able to reach him. So I guess this was a quick betrothal. The guy just left, and then Abai tries to chase after him, but meanwhile he was betrothed already. It was too late. So Amar Abaya, Hai Milsa Damar Rabbanan. Abaya says that this thing that the rabbi said, Afilu Beyasa Bekutcha, even to eat egg together with milk. Kutach is not really milk. Kutach is like a sour milk, a sour cream type of milk, spoiled milk, a yogurt type of thing. Which someone could say, well, egg maybe comes from a chicken, maybe it's fleshik. And are you allowed to eat egg with milk? Now the answer is, of course, yes, you're allowed to eat egg with milk. Egg is para. But such an obvious thing that everyone knows, to eat egg with milk, a person should not make a ruling about that in front of his teacher or in the area of his teacher. A person shouldn't say that it's permissible if the teacher's around. Not because it's chutzpah to rule in front of the teacher. Because you're going to come out with the wrong halacha. You won't have the right siyata d'shmaya. If the teacher's around, only the teacher gets the help from heaven to make the ruling. Abaya said he ended up making a mistake because he should have asked for Yosef and not Paskin on his own. I already knew what Rabbi Shmuel said. But I didn't have it the success. I didn't have the luck to be able to paskin correctly. Okay, that's the help from heaven. Taner Rabbanan, Tan in a Bryce, Nasta Benalamin Nikas, I Gamalta, Mace, Matersti Nasamiyad. Okay. Let's say the woman that gave birth had given her son over to a wet nurse, or she weaned the child, or the child had died. She's allowed to get married right away, because the issue of her getting married right away would be that the milk would dry up because she would get pregnant, and then the husband wouldn't be supporting the baby, and it would be a danger to the baby. The husband wouldn't, the new husband.
I don't know much about the biology of this, but how long is a woman able to produce milk?
When she's pregnant?
Yeah. No, like, well,
In general?
in general.
I think she can produce for a long time. It depends on which woman, but for
so
as long as the
varies.
baby doesn't stop. Because if the baby continues nursing, it'll continue to.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah, I think the Gemara uses that to say that the students bring out the wisdom of the teacher by them continuing to ask, just like the baby that nurses. The more the baby nurses, the more milk the mother has. So that's in the example of that.
Just regular 5 years. Wow.
That was back then. Okay.
You were a student, that's what it was.
So what's going on over here is that she can get married right away. Why? Because it's not necessary for her to continue nursing, because either the baby died or or she went to the baby's nursing by a wet nurse, or the baby was weaned. So that's the first opinion here. That's what the Brisa says. Rav Papa, Rav Huna, Breder, Rav Yeshua, several Mevaruvda, Ki Hamas Nisa. Rav Papa and Rav Huna, Breder, Rav Yeshua, they're later Amirayim, students of Abai and Rava, and they wanted to paskin like that. That if they weren't nursing, either because the baby died or weaned or whatever, so then the woman could get married. Well, Amra Lahu Hahi Savta. This older woman told them, Didi Haviyovda. I had a story with this. Vasili Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman didn't allow me to get married. Rav Nachman's much earlier. Aini is that so? But Rav Nachman Sharla Lebei Reish Galusa. But Rav Nachman allowed the house of the Reish Galusa. I think Rav Nachman was like the Rav for the Reish Galusa. The Reish Galusa is the exilarch, the head of the Jewish community, was like the Jewish governor. He allowed them to get remarried if they weren't nursing anymore because they had given the baby to the wet nurse. The Gemara answers, Shani Beirish Galusa Lei Hadabu. By the Reish Galusa, if they gave the baby to the wet nurse would not stop from nursing. I guess they paid well or something. And they got the proper people to continue nursing. Someone else, they gave the baby to the wet nurse. Maybe the wet nurse is just going to say, "Oh, I gave up on this baby. I'm not nursing." And then, meanwhile, she's betrothed, and then the baby loses out. Not the wet nurse, and not the mother. The mother can't because she got pregnant from the new husband, and there's no milk left. Gemara says, "Okay, Amalu Rav Papa, Amalu Rav Papi." Rav Papi says to Rav Papa and Rav Huna Breder Rav Yeshua, "Batun leitis berua, mihad Tanya." I'm surprised at you. You couldn't figure this out on your own. We have a brisa. Brisa says, let's say there's a woman, she's running back to her father's house. Or there's anger in the house of her husband. Or her husband is in prison. Or the husband is out of town. Or the husband is ill or old or ill. Let's say she's a barren. There's a Cana, she's old, islandess. She's underdeveloped and she won't be able to conceive. Katana. Or she's a young girl, a minor. She had a miscarriage right after her husband died. Or she's not able to give birth. They all have to wait 3 months anyway. Now, the rule with 3 months is like this: that if a woman gets divorced and there's no child, if there's a child and she gets divorced, she has to wait 24 months until she can get remarried because of the nursing. That's what we learned before. Now we're saying if she gets divorced and she wants to get remarried within 3 months, so we have a problem because let's say she became pregnant from her first husband and she's going to have a baby after 7 months, and could be she's pregnant from her second husband. She's having a baby. She's having a baby after 9 months from the first husband, or maybe it's 7 months from the second husband, and it's going to be a confusion who the father is. So we say you have to wait 3 months. 3 months in those days was a pregnancy test to see if you can see a bulge in her stomach to see if she's pregnant. So you had to, but let's say we gave a whole list of examples of where we know for sure she's not pregnant. She was never around in her house. She was always hanging around at her father's house. Or she was in a fight with her husband and they weren't having relations. Or her husband was in prison. Her husband was overseas. Her husband was old. They couldn't have relations anyway. Or she was barren. She's for sure not pregnant. Or she had a miscarriage. Or it doesn't matter. You have to wait the 3 months anyway. Okay. So far, we're trying to develop a question here on why should we say that the 24 months for a nursing baby, that's going to depend on if there's actually the reason is there that the baby's still nursing. But if you give it to a wet nurse, then it doesn't apply. Or, right? So we go on like this. Rabbi Yossi, mater. Liyaris inasimad. Rabbi Yossi says no. You can get married right away. Rav Nachman Amar Shmuel Halacha Rav Meir b'Gzeirosav. And Rav Nachman says that we pass him like Rav Meir. Rav Meir is the strict one, that you have to wait the 3 months, even though the reason for it is absolutely not applicable. Because she's for sure not pregnant. Amalei.
But these, all the examples that you gave earlier of
Yeah.
Spouse who's in prison.
Right. She's for sure not
women who
pregnant.
are fighting,
Right.
couples who are fighting, things like that.
Yeah. Okay. So Amalei Lava Daitin said, you're right, we forgot about this Brisa. The Hilchas in the halacha is mace, that if the baby passed away, then mutter, then she's allowed to get remarried. But kamaltai, the kamlata, I don't know how to pronounce it, aser, then if she weaned him, then it's prohibited. Now the logic over here goes like this, because she may wean the baby early because she wants to get remarried. But she's not going to kill the baby in order to get remarried. So if the baby died, we would consider that was nothing to do with her. So there's no foul play there. But weaning the baby early in order to get remarried, that's a concern. So we say that we don't accept that the baby's weaned. It's not going to help you. You have to wait 24 months anyway. And Mar Baravashi says, I feel mace nami aser. Even if the baby died, don't makatala, maybe she killed the baby. And then because she so much wanted to get married that she killed the baby, so that they should let her get married within 24 months. She might have killed the husband too. But so Havi Uvta V'chanketsei. We have a story where a lady actually choked her baby because she wanted to get married. She didn't want to wait. Yeah. Well, we want the baby to continue breastfeeding for those. So the Gemara says, don't bring a proof from that story. That was a crazy lady. No one would do that. This lady was insane. That you can't bring a proof from a crazy story. There's always crazy stories. That doesn't mean anything. That's not we don't have to make rules based on those stories. Shaita. Well, Mishuga is like, that word is in the Gemara as well. I think so. Shigan, I think so. Like crazy. I'm sorry? You see, it's different. Meshuga and shaita are different. Shaita is like a biological problem. Like an imbecile. Someone, it's not the brain. Meshuga means someone that acts a little wild, Taner Rabbanan, Harishon Lasa Ben Lahanik. Let's say there's a wet nurse. We're going to give the rules of a wet nurse, of what they're allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do. If someone takes on that job, they have certain responsibilities. So she's getting paid to nurse. She's not allowed to nurse another child together with not her own son and not a friend's son, while she's being paid to nurse this baby. I guess it's obvious because won't have enough milk for the one that she was hired for. Paska Kima, if her husband or whoever she's living by is only getting a little bit of food, she has to still eat a lot of food because she's a wet nurse. She's not allowed to eat things that are bad for the milk. The Gemara now asks the question: if she can't nurse her own son, then why do you have to tell me that she can't nurse a different baby, her friend's son? Where it says, well, it's actually logical. It was necessary to say that because I would have thought that maybe with her own son, she's going to give a lot of milk to her son, and that's a problem because she was hired to nurse someone else. So most of the milk she would take for her son. Aval ben Chaverta, but for her friend's son. Ilav the Havala Meiser Leavimamsile. If she didn't have extra, she wouldn't give because it's not doesn't feel the need to give to this other baby because she's paid to do this one, and that's just whatever. She had extra milk, so she nursed the other baby. So Kamash Malan comes to tell us that she's not even allowed to take on this extra one, just in case she may use up too much and not leave enough for the one that she was hired for. Paska Kimma Ichelas Harbe Mehecha, where does she get the extra food from if she's only get allotted that amount? Amrav Shais Mishalah, she has to use up her own income to buy extra food. I guess she's getting paid as a wet nurse. She's not allowed to eat things that are bad for the milk. Mine, what are things that are bad for the milk? Amrav Kana going kishas. Kishas is hops. This is different than what they say today. I always thought they said beer was good for nursing mothers. They would say
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. They say maybe not the alcohol beer, but they said that other beer, that malt beer, whatever. I don't know if it's the hops or not. Apparently, from this Gemara, hops is not good. The chaziz. Chaziz is this young grass, wheatgrass. Did you imagine they had wheatgrass juice back then?
The sprouts itself.
Maybe the sprouts, wheat sprouts. Dogim katanim, small fish. What does that mean? Sardines or something? Ba'adama, she shouldn't eat dirt. I don't know why she would eat dirt anyway, but
But not chocolate.
chocolate for sure is good, right? Abaya says, afilu kra v'chavusha, pumpkin and quince is also not good. Rav Papa afilu kra v'kufra. Rav Papa says pumpkin and what's kufra? Young dates. Rav Ashi amar afilu kimcha v'harsana. Kimcha is that dip that we mentioned before that's made from milk, and harsana is a type of fried fish, small fish. Minayo paski chalba, minayo akri chalba. Some of them stop the milk, dry up the milk, and some of them just make the milk go bad. The mashra beirechaya, if a woman has relations by the mill, so havalu b'nei nichbi, her children will be nichbi is epilepsy. The mashri alara, she has relations on the floor. Havalu b'nei shmuti, then she'll have children that have long necks. Apparently that's a mum. I guess if it's extra long, it would be a mum. Yeah, the darka al rama, the chamra, if she steps on dung from a donkey, havalu b'nei girdani, she'll have children that are bald. It's at least one of the there's other types of growths maybe on it. The achla chardala, if she eats chardal is mustard. Havalu b'nei zalzani, she'll have children that are gluttonous. The achla tachli, if she eats cress. Havalu b'nei dulfini, she'll have children that are teary-eyed, always watery eyes. Dachla munini, that's a type of fish, small fish. Havalu b'nei metzitziena, the eyes will be fluttering, I guess, like blinking always. Dachla gargushta, if she eats dirt. Havalu b'nei mechuri, she'll have children that are ugly. The shasya shichra, she drinks beer. Havalu b'nei yochmi, she'll have children that are dark skin. I guess in those days, white skin was more beautiful. The achla bisra, b'shas yachamer, if she eats meat and drinks wine. Havalu b'nei bari, that's she'll have already healthy children. The achla bei, if she eats eggs. Havalu b'nei anine, she'll have children with big eyes. The achla kabri, if she eats fish. Havalu b'nei chinne, she'll have children that have very beautiful chen, right? The achla krifsa, if she eats celery. At least that's one translation. Havalu b'nei zivsini, she'll have children that are radiant, shining. The achla kuzbarta, if she eats coriander. Havalu b'nei bisrani, she'll have that sounds like heavy, right? Fat children. That back then that was, I guess, something positive. I think. The achla srega, if she, at least it's in the list of these things. If she has eats a sregim, Havalu b'nei rechani shall have children that smell well, that smell pleasant. Brate the Shvar Malka achla ba'ima esrega. The daughter of Shvar Malka, her mother ate. Malka is the king, of not the queen. I don't know what the queen's name was, but it wasn't like Hilani or something. I don't think so. Was it? Was it say that it was? I don't remember who it was, but she ate esregim, I guess, when she was pregnant. And havimaskala kami avua breish rechani. They would bring this child in front of the mother, in front of the father, as a perfume. That was the first of the nice scents. That was his best scent. Was this baby that smelled so nice because the mother ate the esrog. Okay, let's leave it over here.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Have a good day.